was gonna start.
Okay, we're going to start saying the prayer, so if you grab your hats.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful that we can be gathered here this day for this commission meeting. We're thankful for the wonderful area that we live in and for the many blessings that we enjoy. We're thankful for the moisture that we've received, and please continue to bless us with what we'll need for the coming year. We're thankful for the wonderful folks that support us and take care of us in law enforcement and the military. Please bless them in their service, and please keep them safe that they can return home to their families. We're especially thankful for those that are out working and keeping the snow off the roads, that we can get to our destinations as well. Please watch over our families as we're away this evening, and we ask for these favors and blessings and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
There's a couple seats up front, and I think it's piped in out back. If I'm not right, Keith, it's probably piped in out back, so people want to listen. We can't have anybody in the aisles or in the exits. Okay. You guys looked over the minutes?
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes from December 15th, 2021.
I'll second that.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, administrative review reports, future agenda items, former agenda items. We've got the 5 whatever coming off the agenda. Auditor's office 539 coming off the agenda. You guys got to have a seat. We can't have anybody in the aisles. Sorry. Anything else you guys got to talk about?
I don't.
Nope.
Okay. First meeting of the year, we always change some appointments around, and we have, me and Jeff Hadfield have changed. I'm taking RDA and Economic Development, but we're going to call it Quality Growth, and he's taking Roads. And then I'd entertain a motion for the chair for next year.
I make a motion we appoint Commissioner Scott as chair.
I'll second that motion.
Can you do that?
Yeah, we can do that. You can abstain if you want, but
Yeah.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by me. Commissioner Summers, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so I'm going to hand the gavel to him. And that's the first time I've ever used that in 9 years, so.
Take your
We're gonna
nameplate with you.
Switch spots. Can you guys hear out in the hallway?
I'll trade you.
Okay, so they should be piped out there.
Thanks.
Slow down.
You guys shouldn't have given me this chair then.
Yeah.
All right.
Sabotage me.
Thanks, I think. Okay. All right. 5:15, we have our Rocky Mountain Home Fund. Do you want to introduce that, Commissioner Summers?
Yeah, come on up, Steve. We've been looking for a little while about how to do something for integral employment for teachers, firefighters, police officers. And unbeknownst to me, Steve has already got something in place that they've been doing through the legislature. So I contacted him a couple weeks ago to have him come up and talk about, have you got your thing, or do I think I sent you, Marla?
Hopefully she's got it. If you can load on the, you can go on the internet and just pull it up.
It was something I forwarded it to you.
Oh,
Yes,
man.
but I
You're
did
going to
not
put me under
put
the...
it as I
Spot
didn't
here.
realize I had to bring it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So there's our web
Yeah,
address.
you just go to
Just go
rmhf.net.
here and start it now.
All right.
Okay, tell us that again.
RMHF.
RN.
As
M.
hf.net. And then click on the intro video tab. This little video saves about 45 minutes of explanation. So,
That was a 4 to 5 minute
Could you tell me your name?
Steve Waldrip,
Walt.
representative. Yeah.
WALDRIP.
Thank you.
Maybe pause for just 1 second, Commissioner, just so I can introduce this real quick. Rocky Mountain Homes Fund is a social benefit fund that I started with a couple partners about 7 or 8 years ago. And it sort of exists as an idea, and then over the last 2 years, it's really gotten some steam. This is not a government program. It's not a legislative program. It's a private program that involves no government funding, no government financing. It's intended to provide home ownership opportunities for what we call our working professionals. And I think we all have neighbors, friends, and acquaintances and family members that are struggling to get into housing right now. Part of the problem is pricing, and part of the problem is availability. This program is a financing program that sort of lowers that bottom rung so that people can get into a home ownership position through a split equity program. But as we've looked around the state, what we found is that it's not just financing that's the issue, it's availability, especially off of the Wasatch Front. What we're finding, I was in Fillmore yesterday, there are 4 houses for sale in Fillmore. There's a plant down there that has hundreds of jobs available, great paying jobs. They can't bring anybody down because they have nowhere to live. And that's similar to what we're seeing up here in Box Elder with Procter & Gamble and others. We're hurting ourselves by not solving this problem. And so this is one component of the problem, and Commissioner Summers indicated that the county may have some opportunity to help solve the other part, which is the availability of homes to purchase. And so this is one prong of a 2-prong approach, and we'd love to work with the county to solve that problem for the county. And so this is an explanation of the program and how it works.
This is Cindy. Cindy is a school teacher in the Rocky Mountain School District. She's 29 and has 2 kids, Tiffany and James. Cindy earns about $3,500 a month. Right now, she lives in an apartment with her kids. Her rent is $1,600 a month, which is about 46% of her total income. Cindy would love to own her own home someday. She actually even has one in mind. The home costs $250,000, but Cindy's credit isn't the best, which will make it hard to find a financial institution willing to give her a mortgage. And she can't really afford the $50,000 down payment anyway. Luckily, Cindy's school district partnered with Rocky Mountain Homes Fund. The district offered her a chance to be part of a new program that helps teachers become homeowners. The 2 biggest barriers to entry into homeownership are the down payment and the ability to qualify for a loan with an affordable monthly payment. But because she's working with Rocky Mountain Homes, Cindy doesn't have to make a down payment at all. And by working with Rocky Mountain Homes, she gets an interest rate and monthly payment that's lower than what she could get on her own. Once her district recommended her for the program, Cindy sat down with Rocky Mountain Homes and gave them some basic information. They asked things like her monthly income, her credit score, and what kind of equity split she wanted to do on her home. They explained that she could choose her share of potential equity in her home, anywhere from 25% to 75%, and that this would help them identify what homes were within her reach and customize her monthly payment to fit her budget. They also explained that even though she was sharing the equity, she maintained the right to refinance and take full ownership of the home at any time, or to move out of the home and receive the benefit of any equity that she's earned. Cindy was paying $1,600 in rent per month. Her new monthly payment is only $1,250. So every month, Cindy saves $350. Rocky Mountain Homes Fund set up a custodial savings account where they help Cindy create and maintain a 6-month reserve. This reserve will help her cover unexpected major expenses. The initial deposit equals 2 months of her monthly payment. This is similar to a first month last month deposit at an apartment complex. The difference is, this is money that Cindy can access when she needs to. Since Cindy's monthly payment is $1,250, her initial deposit is $2,500. They gave her the option to either pay it out of pocket or roll it into her monthly payment, so she doesn't have to incur any out-of-pocket expenses. So, let's review. Cindy makes about $3,500 a month. Her credit score isn't great, but she has saved some money in the bank. She probably couldn't have gotten a mortgage on her own. And even if she could, she couldn't afford the down payment and wouldn't have a monthly payment she could afford. But everything changed when Cindy's district partnered with Rocky Mountain Homes Fund. Through their program, Cindy avoided having to make a down payment, reduced her monthly housing costs by $350, and was able to get a much better interest rate and monthly payment than she could have gotten on her own. Keep in mind, Cindy can refinance and take full ownership of the home at any time, or move out of the home and receive the benefit of any equity that she's earned. But, look at what happens if Cindy decides to stay in her home for 5 years. Cindy chose a 50-50 equity split. Her monthly savings of $350 over 5 years comes to $21,000. At the end of year 5, Cindy will have paid down $11,940 in principal. Cindy keeps 100% of her principal payments as equity. Finally, the 5-year appreciation of Cindy's home is $39,818. Since Cindy chose a 50-50 split, she keeps $19,909 in appreciation equity. Cindy's total 5-year benefit is $52,850. Pretty incredible, right? Now look what happens if she stays for 5 more years. Her total 10-year benefit is an amazing $111,510. After 10 years, Cindy has 2 options. She can either re-up with the program, or choose to refinance and own the home outright. At this point, her credit score is probably higher. She has a lot of equity in the home. Her monthly housing cost is now less than 36% of her income. And if she saves up that $350, she has a lot of money in the bank too. No matter what she chooses, thanks to Rocky Mountain Homes Fund and the Rocky Mountain School District, Cindy's life has been elevated.
Thank you. I don't know, Commissioner, if you want me to just go on for a little bit, or if you want to open up for questions from your fellow commissioners.
You know, I sent this to him a couple weeks ago when we first started talking about it, and I also sent it to the sheriff and the school district and stuff, because that's our biggest problem right now, is that some of the people that we need to come work can't afford to buy a home and can't even afford to rent. So I think, I don't know if these guys got any questions.
The interesting thing is that $250,000 a year ago was an accurate home value, along with the $42,000 salary. Now the $42,000 salary is still a reality, but the home value is $100,000 higher. So
Right.
it's becoming even more and more challenging.
So like I said, we're not putting anything into it. We're just actually trying to find some people that would fit and sending them to the Rocky Mountain Home Fund, and they can take care of it from there. So we'd be able to just take a look and see.
Yeah, right now we're working with Weber School District and Logan City School District, and we're in discussions with other cities and districts across the state. The money for the program is provided by private institutions. So our first investor was Intermountain Healthcare's Impact Investing Fund. We now have Zions Bank, Bank of Utah, Cache Valley Bank, and some others that are committed to add investment, and then lending partners, America First Credit Union right now. So we have significant commitments of capital, and so now we're trying to socialize the program and make it available to more individuals. So we're not asking for any public funds for this, but what we would like to see, as we've talked with Commissioner Summers, is if one of the challenges that I've seen across the state is obviously availability, and then affordable availability. And the counties and cities have some tools now that they can utilize to help create attainable housing, not necessarily low-income housing, but attainable housing for working professionals. The one thing that we counsel our city and county partners to do is if they do any buy down of the land value or any contribution, that contribution of the public funds is locked up for a long time, for long term on those properties, so that you don't have a one-time incentive then being taken advantage by somebody and then you have to come up with more money now to subsidize the next home. You lock that land value up at a low rate if that's what you choose to do, and state law allows you to do that, but you lock it up under a deed restriction or a land trust or something so that the participant can get the appreciation, but they don't get the benefit of what the county and the public have contributed to that initial housing cost, and that stays down so that in the future that continues to pass on down the road, and the public trust is protected that way.
And that was a big thing we were having problems with when we were looking at this before, is the plain fact that once that land value was gone, it was gone.
Yeah, and there's
So-
a couple ways to do that that are been done, and we just encourage, and we're happy to work with you on
Okay.
but with other partners doing that as well.
I think it's a great idea, so
Thanks, Steve.
I just wanted to make sure that he came in front of us and let us know what we could do.
Appreciate the info.
Yeah, and please feel free to call if you have any questions in the future. We'd love to sit down and work with you. We're in discussions with a lot of different entities, and obviously the timing is right to try and address this issue across the board.
And I know we're trying to get, he's on the board of Mountain Star, and I'm on the board of Intermountain here, and so we're both trying to get both of them on board with some of the things. That's
Yeah. We have some Intermountain employees already as participants in the program. We have Weber School District employees. We're doing Logan City School District employees now. We've got another tranche of money coming in, so we'd love to expand that as we have opportunity. And right now we're using existing homes, but again, that's one of the limitations, is the existing
Inventory.
stock. Yeah, it's just painful.
Thanks.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Appreciate you
Okay,
coming up.
thanks for your time, Steve.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yep.
Okay, Commish. AT&T?
Yeah, we just had the opportunity to work with AT&T a couple commissions ago, I think it was. And they sent us a really good letter about how well they wanted to work with us, and they seen how close we are on the Wasatch Front, and they would really like to help us with some of our broadband stuff. So that was it was really nice coming from an AT&T people that want to come in and help Box Elder residents with high-speed internet. So hopefully we can look forward to that in the days to come.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. Health Department appointments. We have a couple of representatives from Box Elder County that represent us on the Bear River Health Department Board. Our Chief Deputy Dale Ward has served on the board for has it been 7 years now? Wow, 7 years. As we were talking on the board 7 years ago, we thought it would be invaluable to have somebody from law enforcement on there. Some of the topics that come up are very pertinent, and Dale has given he's given a lot of service and a lot of expertise that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And we're trying, but he's bound and determined to retire here in a couple months, and so we need to find a replacement. And I don't know if Cade signed up for this, but he's finding out more and more responsibilities. So Cade Palmer has accepted the position to serve on the Bear River Health Department Board. Also, Jim Abel, that owns JC's Diner in Tremont, and has been on the board for a number of years. And he's been phenomenal to have a restaurateur on there, and to provide input from somebody that does get inspected by the health department for food services. And so, but he has expressed interest in kind of stepping back, and he's got other things going. And so we've talked with Kevin Hall, that owns and operates Peach City here in Brigham, and he has said that he would be willing to serve on the health department board also as a Box Elder appointee. So there's the background.
Okay. Do you want us to make a motion towards that or not?
Yes.
Okay. You got the names?
No. I don't.
Cade Palmer
Okay.
and
Kevin Hall.
Kevin Hall.
Okay, I'd make a motion, we appoint Kate Palmer and Kevin Hall to the Health Department Board.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. And again, we really want to thank Chief Deputy Ward and Jim for their service. They've added a lot to the board and made a big difference. So thanks again. Okay, 524. They passed me a note about a COVID update. I don't think anybody wants to hear any more about COVID, do you? Be careful.
We've all had it.
If you're concerned, wear a mask. If you're sick, stay away from other people, please. There you go. All right. 524, Richard Garrett. Is Richard here? Thank you.
Richard, you might have to pull that mic right up to you.
All right.
There
How's
you go.
that?
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for allowing me to be on your agenda today. I'm Richard Garrett. I live in Collinston. And for those who don't know where that is, we're 7 miles north of Crystal Hot Springs. The county seems to forget where we're at, and Beaver Dam is on the Valley View Highway. I'm here to request that the county commissioners appoint a representative from the Collinston Beaver Dam area to be on the Bear River Water Conservancy Board of Directors, since that is something that the commission handles, those appointments. We pay taxes to Bear River Water Conservancy, but we have no representation. And quite frankly, they've been very predatory in their nature as far as acquiring water and redistributing water, as you're probably aware by the upset citizens. They're demonstrating a total disregard for private water rights in spite of their mission statement that says they will endeavor, which is a $50 word for kind of try, to protect water rights. And so we are requesting representation on that board. Just a reminder to everybody, Tremont is represented, Honeyville and Deweyville is represented, Bear River City and Corinne, Brigham City, Willard, Perry, Manaway. The western part of the county is represented. Portage, Plymouth, Fielding, Riverside, Bothwell, Thatcher, and Howell. The canal companies and independent water companies are all represented. But there's this gap up there where we live where we have no representation. And quite frankly, we're fed up. We're fed up by being treated like our opinion doesn't matter, like we don't exist. And we are asking that you recognize that we do exist and give us a place on that water conservation board or that water conservancy board so that we can participate in decisions that are affecting our area. And quite frankly, there's some things that if you will appoint someone, there are some qualifications we'd like to have of the person that you appoint. First, they be a resident of our area up there. We don't need representation from somebody down in Mandaway trying to represent us. We would prefer not to have any realtors, developers, contractors, or mortgage brokers. We want somebody who has our interests at heart and not how to further their own business. So that's my pitch. I'd be happy to entertain any questions, and I appreciate you giving me the time to bring this up.
Do you have anybody in mind in your travels? Have you talked to anybody that would be willing to serve that wouldn't fit one of those criteria that
there's
you
a couple of people
mentioned?
I haven't talked to either one of them personally, but yes, we have a couple of people.
Okay.
Where's Tony?
We throw people under the bus regularly here, so.
Oh, okay. Tony?
We'd have to look into their charter to see if that has to expand or not. That's another thing that they have to look at. If it's in its
County commissioners have that right.
Well, that's
It's
what I'm
only within
saying.
the county. If it were multi-county, they'd have to have elections, but the county commissioners
Yeah,
is responsible for that.
and Jeff Scott serves on that.
Yes.
So, and if it's like the mosquito abatement, I basically serve on the mosquito abatement and I'm over
Right.
everybody else except for the cities that are, so I'm the only one on that takes care of Bothwell and Collinston and Beaver Dam and
Got it. I understand that.
everybody else, so.
Real quick, Tony, Would you be willing?
Yeah.
Tony Richards.
Okay.
But as
But
Commissioner
You can take
Summers,
me later.
we do confirm the appointments,
Right.
and we would need to check in the other bylaws,
Yeah,
because if the
understand.
bylaws only allow a certain number of board positions, then the bylaws would need to be changed if we're adding
Understand.
board positions above and beyond what we existing have. But
We just
no,
wanted
it's
to bring our
great
concerns.
input. Absolutely.
no, I think
Okay.
that's great.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
on. You guys don't need to stick around for the rest of this if you don't want to.
You're welcome to.
I don't think so.
I doubt it.
We're not that funny.
I doubt it. So, okay, we're at 529, input on developing ag restrictions. Laura Holmgren.
I just reserved this spot for Mr. Junior Lord.
Oh, Junior? Good. Just pull that mic up to you and tell us who your name is and go from there.
Thank you. You hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. Name is Junior Goring. I operate a sheep ranch and a small irrigated farm and a small feedlot over in Deweyville, Utah. I've been asked to present the views of my fellow agricultural producers on the proposed ordinance concerning animal feeding operations, AFO. I represent a cross-section of about 40 major producers and their peers that met on January 3rd, and we are in consensus on the following points. First and foremost, we submit that there are existing ordinances and regulations already in place that cover the needs of the agricultural community in Box Elder County, as well as the community at large. Second, we've been assured with the chief sponsor of SB 130 that generated the agricultural proposal before the commission at this time, the deadline of February 1st, 2022 will be removed. Hence, there's no pressure for this county commission to act in haste. Third, to our knowledge, there was no public outcry or complaint aimed at restricting agricultural committees or activities in our county that would generate the need for further regulation. The question is, if it isn't broke, what are we trying to fix? Third, to our knowledge, fourth, the steering committee of Box Elder County Vision stated that agriculture in Box Elder County is a major industry and also a key component to rural character, which attracts people to our county. 93% of survey participants agreed that agriculture is an important part of our history, heritage, and an important part of our economy, and they want to actively preserve it. Fifth, the agricultural industry deserves due process. It was reported to us that public notices fell short of complying with the Public Meetings Act, and certainly believe this was the case with the last and most recent Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. We believe that a wider cross-section of agriculture producers should have been involved in this decision and should be involved in the future. We're willing to build that relationship and work with you. Thank you for your time and consideration of our views.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Junior.
Junior.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. If it's okay, we're going to go a little bit out of order, and we'll go ahead and have Kaylee Garn come up at this time, and then we'll have George Fuller come up after, since these are kind of related.
Thank you, Commissioner. You three and the Planning Department, as well as the Planning Commission, received a copy of the letter that I'm about to read.
Do you want to just state your name and stuff for the record?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Kaylee Garn, sorry. We, as members of the Utah Farm Bureau and Box Elder County Farm Bureau, are writing to you to voice our unified opposition to any amendment to the Box Elder County Land Use Plan related to animal feeding operations or concentrated animal feeding operations. The proposal to amend Article 4, Chapter 4 through 5 related to animal feeding operations and concentrated animal feeding operations, herefore AFO-CAFO, presents detrimental consequences to the future of agriculture in Box Elder County. After conversations with the Planning Commission and Commissioner Stan Summers, this amendment is being quickly pushed through the county in response to Utah SB 130. Line 101 to 103 of this bill states that the legislative body of a county desiring to restrict large concentrated animal feeding operations shall adopt a county large concentrated animal feeding operation land use ordinance in accordance with this part by no later than February 1st of 2022. We, as farmers and ranchers in the Box Elder County, do not desire restrictions, as we are already being regulated on a state and federal level. Action is not required by the bill, nor is it desired by Box Elder County residents. Next, the proposed amendment acts contrary to what Box Elder County residents have voiced. During 2021, the county participated in a process focusing on development priorities of the county. The overwhelming consensus of several surveys throughout the county was to preserve agriculture. Any changes relating to AFO-CAFO restrictions acts in opposition to the county's consensus. Furthermore, approximately 100 farmers and ranchers gathered at the Planning Commission meeting where the proposal was discussed on December 16, 2021. Of those in attendance, 40 plus stood and for public record voiced their opposition to additional restrictions being put in place. We, as farmers and ranchers in Box Elder County, do not support restrictions of any kind being placed on AFO-CAFO. Finally, the proposal to restrict AFO-CAFO in Box Elder County is a death sentence to agriculture in our communities. If the proposal allows current operations to be grandfathered in, eventually these operations will cease to exist. Restrictions will prevent growth for those grandfathered in and will abolish any opportunity for new agricultural opportunities within the county. On paper, this proposal impacts only those involved in feeding livestock, but in reality, the proposal will impact all sectors of agriculture within the county. In conclusion, we as members of Farm Bureau cannot support restrictions being placed on the future of agriculture in Box Elder County. Sincerely, Jeff Kent, Chair of the North Box Elder Farm Bureau, Andy Yates, Chair of the South Box Elder Farm Bureau, Riggin Holmgren, State Board Member for the Utah Farm Bureau, and 2,393 members of the Box Elder County Farm Bureau.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kaylee.
Thanks, Kaylee.
Okay. Just before we go on to the public square rosary request, we can absolutely not take any action on an AFO-CAFO ordinance of any kind because it's not on the agenda. It was on the Planning Commission agenda on December 16th. That's when the public hearing was held. There was an initial draft that went out. Even before the meeting, there was another draft that came out. There's been another one that has come out since then. The key word on all of these is draft. Honestly, the only reason we are even considering this or looking at it is because of this bill. If this bill had not come forward, we would never have considered this. If it's not broken, why fix it? From my understanding, this was brought about because of a couple of counties in central Utah. Do they have issues there? Possibly. Do we have issues here? I don't think so. But as we read the language and had legal counsel and talked with our risk management folks and also Utah Association of Counties, the language in there was maybe unintended the way that it was read, but the interpretation was you're required. Well, if you're required to do something before a deadline, you do it because it was signed into law. And so this was our attempt to come up with an ordinance that would give local control for Box Elder County. Obviously, the first few were drafts. They fell far short of what we needed. We appreciate the attendance at the public hearing. We had a lot of people here. We listened to every comment and have tried to incorporate those in the later drafts. The Planning Commission voted unanimously not to send a recommendation of approval on for the one that they were presented with. We respect that. I don't think it would have went anywhere anyway. We've also had the opportunity to visit with both of the sponsors, the Senate and the House sponsor, Representative Ferry and Senator Sandel, and they have opened a bill file to remove that deadline. We're excited about that. Obviously, we can't take any action tonight. This will most likely be on our agenda on the 19th. We're looking forward to that bill passing and not having a deadline on there. And then what I see going forward is a group of interested individuals, stakeholders here in the county that can sit down and look at this. And if there is anything that you would like to see at a local level that doesn't restrict AFOs and KFOs, but potentially protects your rights and, keeps the regulation down, that's what I would be interested in from a personal standpoint. And so that's where we're at.
Commissioner?
So I hope that helps.
I'd like to just add, and I've talked to probably a few of you, but we've all received phone calls. I've actually enjoyed the opportunity of being able to visit with some of you guys on this issue, because I think we're all in agreement when it comes down to it at the end of the day. We realize that agriculture is the biggest thing here in Box Elder County. It's a big agricultural county. And so we want to protect that, and we're looking out for trying to help understand where you guys are coming from. Like Commissioner Scott said, we're going to work together on this so we can, make sure that down the road that Box Elder County continues to have a voice at the table.
Well, and I think now that we've opened up the voice, I know that our planning departments had a problem with trying to get in contact with people that said that they would help. And so when the deadline was there, then that's what made it even worse. I wasn't on the planning commission. I'm not over the planning commission. I did talk to Scott quite a bit about what was going on. And I said the same thing that Junior Goring said. I said, I don't think if it's not broke, don't fix it. And yet we're still trying to fix broken things. So that's what we're trying to do. And I hear chuckles in the background, and that's great. If you think it's funny, I don't think it's funny. But if we're trying to get a law taken together, and I have heard from other people saying that, yes, we supported it as a UAC type thing, but yeah, we supported it at a local level. We were told that if we didn't do something, then we'd either have the state or the federal government come in and tell us what was going on. And we didn't want that. So we'd rather have a local level people telling us what's going on than the state and the federal level. So that's my personal opinion too.
Again, above all, we appreciate you being here. I would rather have people here because they care than apathy.
Yep.
And so we're looking forward to this going forward and not having that date on there and having something that is open-ended and something that we can look at. And if there is anything, we've already received some excellent input from a number of folks. And this will be on the agenda on the 19th. And without that date on there, there is no reason to move forward. So personally, I see absolutely nothing happening in the near future. That's just my take. So thanks again for being here, for your input. And, again, we appreciate Representative Ferry and Senator Sandel being willing to remove that date so that we can have that open-ended and we can move forward in the future the right way. So thanks again. As Commissioner Summers said, if you would like to stick around, you're more than welcome to. If any of you have insomnia, stick around. This might take care of that too. So we will move on to our 532, permission to use the grounds for a public square rosary. If George Fuller is here.
He's in the back.
Okay. George, come on up. If you'll just sit down, George, and state your name for the record, and then we'll go ahead and...
It's going to be removed is the only issue.
We'll see how many times. Thank you.
Okay.
Make sure you give Scott your information. You know what I mean? Back corner.
My name is George Fuller. I want to thank you for allowing me to address this forum tonight. We want to hold a public square rosary rally on the 22nd of January at 12 noon at the base of the steps of this courthouse. This public square rosary, sponsored by American Needs Fatima, will be one of over 23,000 rosaries that will take place across America on that day at 12 noon in each respective time zone. The purpose of this rally is to pray for the overturning of the infamous Roe v. Wade decision making abortion legal in the United States. This issue is the most debated issue in our society right now. These rosaries, these rosaries have a 14-year history starting in 2007. This will be Brigham City's 5th rally. These rallies are peaceful, and we expect to have approximately 40 people to participate. It will last about 1/2 hour.
I've actually been to one. We appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I would love to be there, but I'm going to be in Phoenix that day. Maybe I'll find something
Pray
down
there.
there.
Well, we have
Absolutely.
some throughout the year, so
Okay.
Pray where we're at.
catch the next one.
All right. Yeah, I would entertain a motion. This is similar to everything that you've done over the last
before.
5 years, so nothing should really change, right?
No, every rally is the same except the intention,
Okay.
and this one's on abortion.
I'd make a motion, we give permission to the use of grounds, public square for the Rosary, yeah, right?
Rosary Rally.
Rosary Rally.
Okay.
On the 22nd of January?
Yep.
That's, by the way, that's the anniversary of Roe v. Wade.
Okay.
Okay.
I will second that.
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank
There you
you.
go, George. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for sticking around.
Okay, our 539 is off. That will be on in the future. Looks like it is the Scott Lyons Show.
All right. My first item is the Lindy and Rodney Jensen subdivision. This is a one-lot subdivision. It is located on 10,000 West and 11444 North. So it's out in the Bothwellish area. So this subdivision has been through, but I should say that that lot is just, it's 5.51 acres. So just approximately 5.5 acres in size, meets the minimum zoning requirement out there, and has been reviewed by all applicable county departments and comes with the recommendation of approval.
At least I know what that mailbox sitting on the side of the road is now. They have a mailbox.
Oh, yeah?
I'll make a motion, we approve
Now
the
we know.
Lindy and Rodney Jensen subdivision.
I second that motion.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
And then I got two ordinances. The first is ordinance number 543. This ordinance is for a rezone, a zoning map amendment of approximately 8.96 acres. It's located at approximately 11,200 north and 3,600 west. So this is 11,200 north is the connector between Tremonton and Deweyville. And this is, let's see, if you're familiar where the tracks are, railroad tracks are just on the west side of Deweyville. So it's just west of those tracks. The original rezone request came in for the entire acreage. I don't recall off the top of my head how many acres that was. It went through the Planning Commission, a public hearing was held, and the Planning Commission made a recommendation of approval for this smaller acreage to be zoned RR1. So it's currently zoned A20, agriculture 20 acres. The RR1 zone, which is a rural residential 1 acre zone, is what was requested. There's just about 8 or 9 acres of flat land up on top of that property, and then everything else is steeply sloping down towards the Bear River. Anyway, the applicant got back to us with a legal description for the flat land, and that's what's being now, you've received a recommendation of approval for that 8.96 acres to be rezoned from the A20 zone to the RR1 zone.
And this is on the north side of 11200?
Correct.
Okay. Very good.
I'd make a motion that we approve the ordinance 543 rezone from A20 to RR1.
I'll second that.
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
And the second ordinance is number 548. This one is also a zoning map amendment. This one, it was requested that 5.11 acres be rezoned from the CG General Commercial to CE, which is Commercial Enterprise zone. So this is located at 9000 South and Highway 89 in the South Willard area. You're likely familiar with the property. It's right there at the interchange opposite of Smith and Edwards, where the really old kind of truck salvage yard area is. So that area is currently zoned general commercial. The applicant is requesting to zone it to commercial enterprise, just a slightly different commercial zone. And that commercial zone allows for storage units, which is what the applicant's hoping to clean that area up, clean the trucks up, and put in a storage facility. Anyway, with that said, public hearing was held at the Planning Commission level. There was no opposition, and the Planning Commission forwarded a recommendation of approval for that change to you.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance 548 zoning map amendment from CG to CE.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You want to sign those now or after?
Yeah.
You're just happy you don't have to sign?
I grinning from ear to ear.
Okay, I'm right there.
No, notary, I don't know if Marla has that or not. Do you have your notary or not?
I don't have a receipt, but I'll, if you sign.
That's why I just sent Dale out there to, I can't hear myself think as it is. Put the shirt on today. I said I had the Captain America shirt on today. Hey Scott, that's Chris Vines right behind you. And then the home green kid is sitting there too that wants to be on it right there too. I just making sure he knew who you were.
All right. Cody. Something on the DMV?
I'm hurrying. Just sign anything.
Okay.
Okay, so we've gone out to bid and for the DMV remodel of the American First Building, and we had,
You might want to say who you are.
you don't know who I am, Cody, facilities manager.
There you go.
Richard Kimball.
We had you got me all, thanks a lot, Stan. We had 5 bid applicants, ranging from $658,000 to $926,000. The low bid was Patriot Construction at $658,507.84. That come in $200,000 over our engineer estimate. So we was able to go back and renegotiate with Patriot. We eliminated some of the items in the structure. Mainly was the elevator and a few landscaping items that we felt that we really didn't need. And so we'd like to award the contract to Patriot, a minus of $155,989, and I think you have that in front of you, what the actual, my total is. I
And
think
you might
it's
want to just say on the record again what it's for, just so people know.
The DMV remodel, we purchased the building and we're gonna remodel it and make it the DMV / the Bragg building.
The America First building to the
Yes,
south.
the
of us.
America First, yep.
Okay. 30 years from now, somebody's going to look back and say, what were they doing?
Yeah.
And then you'll know.
And we've gone through that building and actually everything looks pretty good. The tellers and it looks like it's in really good shape. So we should be able to get quite a few years of use out of this building. So
I'm just excited about the drive-through for the DMV.
yeah.
So the contract that's in here still shows the 658. Does it amend that later?
It should
Yes.
be, it's
Okay.
on that amended, yes.
It's on the amended list.
That's what I thought.
I thought on
Okay.
the bottom.
It was on that. Absolutely, that's
Okay.
what we amended it to.
All right.
We should have the total amount because that's what they bid, and then we went with a smaller amount is what they agreed with.
And then we're just using ARPA funds.
Okay.
So
All right.
So that, I'm having a pre-construction meeting this week with them. They should be starting out. The contract is to be completed at the end of March, which I think it's very optimistic.
what year?
This year. So you have to remember, it's all there. We just have a minor remodel in there. So I'm anticipating it moving smoothly. So
Okay. Have you talked to anybody else about the road? Just to see if we could get that alleyway turned into a road?
I'd have to sit down with,
There's only one person.
yeah, with the
Mermaid.
mermaid. Mhm. So
That might be something we want to look forward to too.
yeah, I'd have to
Okay.
sit down with her and see if we can figure that out. But everything else looks like it should be pretty smooth. So.
Okay.
But as far as the tube system,
Oh,
the
yeah.
drawers, everything's functional.
Well, the tube system is adequate. It's actually in really good shape, but the
Okay.
drawers, we're going to be replacing the majority of that because it didn't meet the same as what the DMV is, what the bank teller is. So
Okay.
it's all part of this bid process. Revamping it all, making it actually so the DMV will be able to grow a little more into it. So it's actually going to work out pretty good. We'll have a restroom upstairs and downstairs.
And you think that you'll be able to accommodate the anticipated growth of the DMV with possibly another station for a clerk or somebody there?
Absolutely, because the way it is, it's going to be interesting to see how, and I wish Scott was here to help a little bit with that, but they anticipate the drive-through being used the majority of the time, so we really won't be able to need to have people in the front working with one-on-one. It'll be the teller, and they'll be able to do multiple rows. One teller will be able to do 2 or 3, so we can really do a lot of growth there with that. So
Good.
Cool. Good to hear.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I'd make a motion, we approve the contract 2202 for the renovation of the America First building for the DMV and the Bragg.
Second that.
Have a motion by Commissioner Summers, a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor? Aye. Thanks for your work on this, Cody.
Thanks, Cody. What's next?
Wow.
Yeah.
He just keeps walking. He doesn't want to turn around. I said, what's next?
Jenica.
Janica's up.
Okay, the first thing I have is an early HSA payment for an employee who has requested it due to a medical need. And it just requires a motion and then that's it.
Okay.
Okay, I'd make a motion, we approve the employee or the HSA payment.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And my second one is updating policy 25. This is the policy that allows us to pay COVID leave. So this would be the second revision to this policy after the initial approval. As it currently reads, it says that that leave expired on December 31st of 2021, and we propose to extend that through June 30th.
Okay. How much have you seen over the last 6 months?
It's dwindled down drastically. I'm
That's what I
hoping
thought.
it stays that way
Yeah,
this
amen.
month, but it is still
Supposedly
being
is
used.
more contagious, but not as severe on the symptoms. So
And since they've come back with a shorter period of time,
Yeah.
Has that been helping everybody?
We
have it?
haven't actually had a case since then that I know of. So,
Everybody had it before.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
hopefully it stays that way, but we figured we better extend it.
So you don't need a motion, or you just updating?
I need a motion.
Okay, make a motion to the updated policy 25.
Second?
I have a motion by Commissioner Summers, a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will give you the PAs at the same time, signatures on the back this time.
Oh,
Pretty long list.
because there's too many. Okay.
Then I'll let the attorneys take over.
We've been so excited about this.
Not this one. This one is just a formality. I
Hold the
made
list.
some unintentional grammar issues on the first version and had to replace the word warning with reprimand in about 5 places. And we just thought we better bring it before you to make it official. So, on the disciplinary policy.
So this isn't the one I was excited about. It's the next one.
Oh, he might have been excited about this, but
I love grammar.
I'll make a motion, we approve the updated section 5 disciplinary section.
second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Steve,
Boy, that was a summer's sigh if I ever heard one.
do we really need to deal with some federal overreach?
Let me give you a little background if you're ready for it.
Please.
Ready or not?
You're all familiar with OSHA. They regulate workplace safety. They have come up with some regulations relating to COVID. Basically, in a nutshell, mandatory vaccination and or weekly testing if you don't get vaccinated. When they came out with those regulations, several states were not happy with that, so they took them to court. Initially, the court said, yeah, we're going to put a stay on that. We don't think that's right. The next level of appeal said, no, that's okay. They took off the stay. It's currently up at the United States Supreme Court for, and I think, Stan, you showed me oral argument is
Friday.
Friday.
8th. I just got a text from the AG's office.
They work on Saturday?
Well, that's what it said, wasn't it?
Okay.
So the thing to understand is it's in place. When it was filed with the United States Supreme Court, quite often what they'll do is issue a stay when it's filed, but they didn't.
Maybe
Don't know if that's signaling something or not, but they did not issue a stay. So if nothing happens, it will go into effect. If they come out and say it's no good, then it won't be in effect. The problem is, according to the standards, it has to be in place by January 10th, which is next Monday. And there's a lot of things that have to happen by January 10th. OSHA has provisions that say if you're not in compliance, there's penalties that they can impose. They range anywhere from $10,000 to about $140,000 per violation. In theory, what that means is if you have 100 employees that are supposed to report their vaccination status and none of
$10
them
million.
do, 100 times whatever the fine would be, and it's per day as well. So there's some fairly significant consequences that can come for non-compliance.
Can we just send them an IOU? Now, from a legal standpoint, doesn't this get into HIPAA and protected information? Because in the past, I mean,
HIPAA, religious,
we can get,
everything you can think of.
with health insurance, we know health issues because it comes back on our report, but it's not down to an individual level. But our HR department is actually going to have to talk to every individual, and it's going to be employee specific because they have to know if they're vaccinated or not so that they could comply with testing. So to me, that's a HIPAA violation.
There is a provision, it doesn't help much, but there's a provision that says they don't have to report if they don't want to, but then they have to do the
Mandatory
testing.
testing.
And I don't know all the issues in front of the Supreme Court. That could be one of the issues in front of the Supreme Court.
They're not going to have enough testing kits for us.
The problem that we're having is they didn't put a stay on it, so it goes into effect. So if we don't adopt a policy, if the county doesn't adopt a policy, they would be subject to whatever OSHA may do. We did draft the policy to contain a provision that says if it ever goes away, it immediately will stop. It wouldn't continue on, so it would automatically terminate if something happens that way. Am I missing anything?
I don't think so, but the biggest issue is even though the 10th is when we have to comply, that means we have to know vaccination status
So you got 48 hours to get vaccination status for roughly 250 people.
Yep.
Sweet.
How close do you have to be?
Exact.
Just,
Well, one person off and it's going to cost us 10 grand a day.
Well, I think the intent, yeah, I think the intent is that we get an indication from them and then follow up later with proof. And I think if we are working on it,
I still don't, I mean, honestly, OSHA's got enough people to come read about Box Elder County.
probably come through state OSHA. They don't have as many, it wouldn't be federal necessarily, it would be state.
Aren't we getting into kind of the vaccine card proof
Yeah,
of purchase that Governor Cox said that he would vehemently oppose?
Yep.
The policy requires that we notify everybody if they give a fraudulent card that there's criminal penalties as well. It also requires that we refer everybody to a website that talks about the benefits of being vaccinated.
Got to think that some testing company lobbied to get this bad boy pushed through.
So basically what we're up against is if we don't do anything by the 10th, we'd be in violation, subject to whatever fines or penalties that may impose.
Where's Tom? How much ARPA money do we got still? Pay them back with their own funny money.
Yeah, what do they do if they run out of testing kits? Because there's a shortage right now. Everybody's clamoring for tests.
Don't know.
So how do they enforce that?
Don't know.
We have to test them
Yeah, it has to be, the county has to be the one to pay for the testing.
and pay them to be there to be tested.
Right.
This is a definition of an unfunded mandate.
Definition of insanity.
Well, employees can pay for their own or go get their own somewhere else. They can't be self.
And it's anything over 100, anything over 100 employees?
So from a, strictly from not a policy standpoint, but from a legal standpoint, the advice from the attorney's office, you need to do this to avoid the penalties, potential consequences that are there.
Is there any way we can section our employee account off into different departments?
I asked him that last week.
3 sections of 80 people each?
Different entities.
3 counties, maybe.
3 counties.
We'll have sub-counties, how's that?
This is the kind of crap we have to worry about when we should be worrying about things that we need to take care of here in Box Elder County. So the recommendation is that we gather that information just in case, and then we hope that
The
rational
recommendation-
heads will prevail.
The recommendation would be that you adopt the policy, start the process. The policy would immediately be terminated if it were struck down by the Supreme Court.
Or we ignore your advice and play chicken with the government.
That's an
Or
option.
OSHA.
That's an option.
Can I make a recommendation though if you pass it?
If you come up here and talk in the microphone. Yeah, now you have to say your name.
I'm Annie Hansen with the Attorney's Office. I was just looking at the wording where it terminates, and it reads right now, the policy shall be effective immediately until such time that OSHA no longer requires compliance with subpart U, which is this ETS. My suggestion would be that we maybe put a comma there instead and add, or the law is no longer valid, and maybe just leave it at that. That way, if the Supreme Court doesn't move forward, if they cancel it, it would cancel it anyway. I was probably a little too specific on that part.
The other thing I was going to add, I've just lost my train of thought. There was something, can't remember what it was. Something about, if you would like to add another paragraph or two in the whereas provisions that refer to your desire to do this or your
Staying to not?
Like
Really
whereas having no desire to
absolutely.
this.
we certainly
having
can
a
add
gun-
that.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Somebody
that's,
could add
Federal gun to
that's
our
the thing that
head.
I want to mention is whereas this is federal overreach and whereas we are going
Grossly
to be
ridiculous.
required to pay $10 million a day, which we don't have. Yeah, some of those whereases would be great so that people know why we're being required to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that can be put in there.
Can you put in the plain fact that whereas we have a hard time finding people that want to work? And because of these mandates, again, we're not going to be able to find people that can work.
Well, and they quite frankly, they deemed government employees essential.
So we're
And-
back to essential employees.
Now you're in a situation where people are having to prove their vaccine status or get tested, which a lot of
Same.
people don't enjoy and quite frankly consider invasive as well.
Same with the nurses and doctors, yeah.
Absolutely.
Right, and if I could just add to address your HIPAA concerns, we did put in policy that Annie and I will be the only ones that they can report to try and protect that and keep it as quiet as possible.
So you each have to talk to about 120 people?
Yeah.
Nice.
And also just, if you do pass the policy, the intent would be an email would go out tomorrow morning, letting everybody know, give them as much time as they can.
Can you preempt it with the whereas first?
Oh,
Of
absolutely.
all the stuff that Jeff just said, because honestly, it's like when Northwest Grumman did theirs and they had 10% of their people quit.
Well, and then we also would like to have a department head elected official meeting first thing tomorrow morning to get them on board to understand why we have to do this and the ins and outs of it, what they can and can't do.
Well, I've got a 8:30 and a 9:30 I'm already scheduled for. so.
I've got an 8:30 and a 10 tomorrow morning. And then I've got to head
I'll be
straight
there,
over
I
to,
guess, tag on it.
Hatfield's it.
So 7 would work?
Yeah.
What time?
Can you do 9?
Yeah?
okay,
Sorry.
I'll schedule that and get it set up by morning.
lovely.
Assuming you pass it.
Yes.
I just think it's so, the fines are so ridiculous. It's like, it's almost laughable. Like, are you
It really
serious?
is.
And to be able to have them go towards the only place that they could actually put some teeth to it with OSHA is freaking ridiculous.
They're gonna go around and bankrupt county after county after county.
Well, it's not only county, but anybody over 100 employees.
It's just, yeah,
It's
unrealistic.
I don't, we can't even think about this one.
I would,
I know you'd entertain a motion.
well, it's not entertaining. It's,
But I don't-
Can we table it till next year?
It's, I can't even get it in my mouth. Honestly, that's just ridiculous that, and the whereas if on Friday this stay comes, this is null and void.
Yeah, that ending phrase will.
Can you put something in there that any information that's been shared will be destroyed? Something along those lines?
Yeah, I don't know why we'd have to keep it anymore.
Yeah, if we're allowed to under the Records Management Act.
I think that would help,
And
because,
also seal them.
yeah.
If we
Yeah, and
have to
just,
keep-
just let people know that this is gonna be absolutely secure and it's not being shared with anybody. It stays within our office. I mean, is this something that you would have to share with OSHA if they, I mean, I'm assuming it would be if they
Yeah.
come in and do an audit.
Have to show them that you complied.
Yes, we have to share with OSHA, and then any employee or member of the public who would like to know the total numbers of vaccinated employees, I have to give that to them. Just a total number, yes or no.
So it says they're hearing the arguments Friday at 8 a.m.,
Yeah,
but who knows how long they're gonna take to,
it could be a few weeks after that.
that's what I'm just like,
Or it could be immediate, that's rare, but.
All right.
We are a little puzzled why they didn't put a stay in place, because that's pretty standard. When an appeal's filed, they'll stay it, just for that very reason. So I'm not sure what that means.
Can we just claim that we thought they had to stay in place since they normally do that?
Honestly, I would do this pending
Plead ignorance?
the Supreme Court, but the problem is,
that's what I,
if we wait and they come up with this at 4:45 on Friday, whichever direction, it doesn't give you any time to get the information done by Monday.
And it says all vaccine status must be provided prior to Monday.
do you roll the dice?
Can, I just don't know how much we have in our budget if somebody comes after us. So,
Do we have any idea, I don't think you do, which counties have already got something in place?
I know for sure Weber County does. I spoke to them before we drafted ours, but other than that, I haven't. I think some of the bigger population counties have already been operating since it started a couple months ago, like Salt Lake and those.
If you make a motion, I might be able to second it, but I'm not sure I can spit them words out.
Oh, you're gonna make me say it?
I'm thinking that. We could be here all night waiting for that to happen.
Could we trade for time? I'll sit in the,
Oh my gosh.
icebox before.
I'd make a motion under extreme duress that we comply with the OSHA statement,
Adopt policy.
adopt the policy.
With the changes that you talked about.
Yeah, with the changes that, without the whereases and the BSs and everything else that, sorry.
Is there a resolution number on the agenda?
I don't know, is there a resolution on, I threw my 2201. Ugh.
And in protest of the ridiculousness, I will second that.
Have a motion under duress by Commissioner Summers, hesitant second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Barely.
Aye, 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 aye.
Sorry, folks, we never have this much trouble getting that kind of stuff out of our mouths, so. Well, thanks for your work on this. I sincerely hope that it's all in vain and we can run those through a shredder on Monday, if not Friday evening, so. Once again, I mean, it's ridiculous you're spending this kind of time on this, so.
If I hear anything, I'll let you know. Actually, I'll send her to you when she updates me, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We're texting the AG's office as we speak, as we're going around, so.
Been watching it really carefully, but till Friday, it'll be hard to know.
I just gave it to you, or did I throw it away? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
All right. Did we have any closed session items tonight?
I thought we did.
The only one, if you want an update on the opioid settlement stuff.
Do we even need to talk about that in closed session? I mean, it's probably the worst kept secret in the state.
Almost.
That's up to you guys. Annie was on some conference calls this morning that she could update you.
If you're okay with that one.
Ignorance is bliss. Nothing changed on our end. We already told them we were a party to the settlement, and it's not going to change based on others because we don't have a dog in the fight anyway.
So nothing's different for us.
Okay.
Okay.
I can do without.
Me too.
You guys?
No, I'm good. If we don't need one, we don't need one.
All right. And no RDA meeting.
Next time.
Okay.
Plan on all day next time.
All day.
Start at 11, be done at 11.
Can you put an item on the agenda for the RDA? There's the chamber, yeah, it's the chamber bear contract.
Did you get that email that I heard and just forwarded it to you? Sorry.
I'll make a motion to adjourn, and then Stan can do his thing after he gets done signing.
Yeah, I got a pile of papers I backed up on because I was talking, thinking.
I bet she seconds this one.
That's a joke. I seriously would like barely make a statement, go sit.
Oh, yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Motion to adjourn. All
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Marla.